In a small, dusty village, nestled between rolling hills and endless fields, there lived a boy named Aarav. His house was a modest clay structure with a tin roof that sang when it rained. The village, largely forgotten by maps and modernization, had one school, no internet, and power that flickered like candlelight. Most children spent their days helping in the fields, herding goats or fetching water from the well, but Aarav was different. Even as a child, he was curious. While others played with sticks and stones, Aarav collected old newspapers. To learn new words, he borrowed torn books from a retired school teacher, reading by the dim light of a kerosene lamp. His father, a hardworking farmer, often told him, "Son, the world beyond these hills is too big for us. Be content with what you have." But Aarav couldn't help but wonder if there was more to life than tending crops and surviving droughts. One summer, the government announced a scholarship program for rural students. It required an entrance test to be held in the nearby town, 15 kilometers away. Most kids shrugged it off, saying it wasn't meant for boys like them. But not Aarav. Every evening, after working in the fields, he studied. He practiced math problems in the dirt, using sticks, memorized vocabulary from scraps of paper, and solved old test questions a local teacher had saved. The day of the exam, Aarav borrowed a pair of shoes, 2 sizes too big, and walked barefoot half the way to save them from tearing. He sat among hundreds of students, most from city schools with polished uniforms and fluent English. The exam hall was intimidating, but Aarav focused only on his dream. He returned home that night with blistered feet, but hope in his heart. Weeks passed. Then one morning, a postman arrived with a telegram. Aarav had secured the highest score in the region. He was awarded a full scholarship to a prestigious boarding school in the city. The village erupted in joy, and for the first time, Aarav saw tears in his father's eyes. City life was alien. Tall buildings, traffic, and fluent conversations overwhelmed him. At school, students mocked his accent and clothes. Teachers assumed he wouldn't keep up. But Aarav didn't complain. He studied harder than ever. He woke up before dawn to revise, spent lunch hours in the library, and slowly his marks began to rise. One day, a science teacher noticed his dedication. She introduced him to coding, and Aarav was fascinated. He learned from free online platforms, often staying up through the night to finish assignments. Within a year, he built his first app, a weather alert tool designed to send SMS notifications to rural farmers about upcoming storms. His idea won first prize in a national innovation contest. Media outlets picked up the story of the barefoot boy who built an app, and Aarav was invited to speak at youth conferences. He stood on stages he once only dreamed of, sharing his journey with thousands. Universities abroad offered him full scholarships. Aarav chose to study computer science at a top school in the United States. Life in the West brought new challenges. Cultural shocks, language barriers, and academic pressure made his first semester difficult. But each time he felt like giving up, he remembered his village, the cracked walls of his home, and the faith of his parents. Slowly, he adapted. He joined clubs, made friends, and interned at tech companies. In his final year, Aarav launched a nonprofit to teach digital literacy in remote villages. He partnered with global organizations, raised funds, and sent solar-powered tablets to schools that had never seen a computer. His initiative reached over 200 villages in South Asia. On graduation day, Aarav delivered the valedictorian speech. He stood tall, dressed in a tailored suit, his words powerful and sincere. Success is not born from comfort. It is forged in adversity. I am not special. I just refused to stop believing. He returned to his village a year later. The dusty roads were the same, but this time he drove down them in a car he bought from his first paycheck. He wasn't there to show off. He was there to build. He donated computers to the village school, set up an internet tower, and began weekend training for local youth. Children who once saw education as a luxury now dreamed of universities and careers. One evening, sitting under the same banyan tree where he used to read torn books, Aarav told a group of wide-eyed kids, "Opportunities don't knock twice. You must prepare before they arrive. Success comes not to those who wait, but to those who work while others sleep. Years later, Aarav became a tech entrepreneur known across continents, but he never stopped visiting his village. He credited his roots for every accomplishment. His life became a symbol, not just of personal triumph, but of what is possible when determination meets purpose. His story reminds us all, success isn't about where you start, it's about how far you're willing to go. The secret to success? Believe when others doubt, work when others sleep, rise when others fall, and never ever stop.